fill them in, just a week or month or quarter, whatever works. I've seen people document it on a whiteboard, just within their office, whatever it might be. So this is not prescriptive. This is actually a really powerful tool though. I always reference, and I'm sorry, I'm 7 months pregnant. I get winded when I have to stand up and talk, I'm sorry. This is a really powerful tool. Dennis Ortiz, who's the former CEO of the Mayo Clinic, was quoted in one of his presentations that he gave. I think actually now he's on the board of directors for Cerner. He gave a presentation as a keynote speaker at a conference and was talking about how putting systems, an operating model and systems in place at Mayo had a huge impact on him. He said, when I was still seeing patients, I very much wanted to consider myself an A-level physician. I worked really hard. I did the best I could to keep up with my documentation. I was present when I was with my patients. I was doing everything I could to try and be the best physician that I possibly could. But when I was self-evaluating, I really only considered myself a B-level physician. He then said, when Mayo Clinic started looking at the use of an operating model, they put systems in place, and most specifically, he referenced leader standard work. That was the difference maker for him. Once he understood that and how it could benefit him, he said that's really what made the difference for me going from a B-level position to an A-level position. I think that's pretty powerful coming from someone of that stature. So kind of an interesting story about his experience with using this and the impact it had on him that he shared at the conference. Here are maybe some examples of leader standard work templates. So this is obviously one in Excel, has things broken out by daily, weekly, monthly tasks, different goals and objectives, communications that they want to make sure that they get out to their team. You don't have to do this electronically. You could print out the electronic template and then just fill it in with a red or green marker and use your X's as you complete those different topics. In addition, this is the one that I use. I don't fill it in electronically, but I have a printout of it. That's how I keep track of my stuff and make sure I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. In addition, another template we have is another one, just again on your computer screen. So that's also in Excel. There's a whiteboard one on here that I'll show you. Here's one that they printed off and are using different magnets just as another form of visual management. So it doesn't have to be markers or stickers. You can use magnets, all different kinds of things to fill in and make sure that you're keeping yourself honest to those things you want to hold yourself accountable to as a leader. And then here is a whiteboard one, where this is just something they have printed on a whiteboard in their office and they keep track of their tasks that way. I always say when I think about, people always ask, well, what would I put on my leader standard work that's different than my performance board? There really shouldn't be any overlap between the two. So I always hear about, I'm going to go back to batch leader rounding because it's the easy example. If I'm not meeting on my HCAPs, okay, well, I'm going to start monitoring my batch leader rounding on my performance board. That's meaningful to you as a leader, but is it meaningful to your team? Not necessarily, right? So when I think about batch leader rounding and those types of things, those are examples that I would stick on my leader standard work. Meaningful to me, impactful to me, not so much to my team. So there really shouldn't be a lot of overlap between your leader standard work and what you're doing to engage your team with your performance board. Does that make sense? Any questions about this? I'm really going to stop there. If you have questions about leader standard work, you want access to these templates, Sean would be more than happy to sit down and get you guys set up using this format. We can get them for you.
Or just a quick example.
Yeah.
If you print this sheet out, I don't know if any of the ministries here use the little holders that you can put the sheets in on your performance boards. But yeah, they have the magnets on there. But those are perfect. You can dry erase right over those. So if you put your Excel sheet in there, and then you doodle right on there, and then every week or month you can erase that off.
Good idea. Good idea. So yeah, that all goes back to, we've heard a lot as we've kind of been deploying performance boards and as we've been introducing different elements and systems within the operating model. We've heard a lot, hey, give us we're very good soldiers at SSM. We do what we're told, right? Give us the instructions. Give me step by step what I'm going to do or what I'm supposed to do. I'll do exactly as you tell me. And in theory, that sounds really good. Goes back to that whole idea I was saying about thinking your way into a new way of thinking versus acting your way into a new way of thinking. If we give you some context, perhaps we give you some ideas for templates and a little bit of structure, you guys are going to personalize that to make it meaningful for you. When you do that, you're doing some self-learning and you're kind of building your own frame of reference in terms of your thought process. that's gonna be way more meaningful in terms of how this impacts you long-term than if we were to just give you instructions and say, do this. So we've tried to be really intentional about not doing that, having lots of autonomy. Here's some structure, here's some ideas, but you guys need to learn your way into thinking this way. Does that make sense? Okay, that's all I have. I think who's doing insights? I am? I'd love to do insights. I would love it. We're gonna follow the exact same structure that we did this morning. You guys wanna take a few minutes, start jotting down on your Post-its. What went well?